Incoming transmission.
Because we're getting some
Okay.
good stuff here. But
Right.
yeah, I'll go ahead and start off really quick. I'll do an
I was just going to
introduction.
show you my action figure, but it's downstairs, so that's all right.
Oh, well, we'll put a picture of it up later. You can
Great.
send me a picture, but
You got it.
I'll do my introduction and we'll get started. Ladies and gentlemen, hi, I'm Ed Pogue. This is My Figure Universe's Boosting the Signal. My guest this week is the epitome of modern day classic Hollywood. You know him from such films and TV series as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Residence, Winning Time for All Mankind, Tempest, The Invisible Man, and so much more. Plus, he was Simon Tarsus in Star Trek The Next Generation, which has an anniversary coming up, among other things. Welcome, Spencer Garrett. How are you doing,
Hey,
sir?
Ed. Good to finally see you in person, and good to be with you, my friend.
Yes, yes, I'm glad to have you here. Yeah, you were talking about your figure. I cannot place the name of the individual that. Actually, I have their name written down because I had invited them to come on the podcast at one point in time, but they
He's
have not.
somewhere in Europe. He sent me
Yeah.
4 copies of mine, and then he asked me if I would reach out to LeVar Burton to see if he wanted one. And I called LeVar, and LeVar was like, "Dude, I have about 300 of them. I'm good." So
Wow.
he's
Wow.
got plenty of data action figures.
Yeah, there you go.
Or Jordy, actually. Sorry,
Jordy. Yes, Jordy.
Jordy. My God,
Um,
sacrilege.
yeah, you need an actual figure. I know, like Brian Volk-Weiss. I don't know if you know who he is. He's got a
I
company
don't.
called Nacelle, and he's doing the figures now. And it's like when he was asking for suggestions, the first one I sent him was, we need a Simon Tarsus.
Oh
It's
wow.
like it has to be done, and because his main goal when he was starting this was he wanted to do figures that had not been done, and technically, with the exception of customs, you have never had a figure. So, it has to happen. I'm hoping it happens. I know Brian will see this, so hopefully
That
he's
would be
listening.
one of the great honors of my life. To be honest, that would be terrific because playing him means a lot to me. It was one of my earliest jobs, like right out of the gate as a young actor, and I had no idea at the time how resonant that character in that episode would be and become over the years, and how much it actually meant to people until I went to my first con in Vegas several years ago. So I was not a fan. I was not a fan of Star Trek when I shot that episode. I just wasn't aware of what a big deal it was
Yeah.
until it came out, and then I started getting recognized on the streets in all over the world for playing Simon Tarsus more than anything I've ever done. So I thought, oh God, I guess people really do watch this show, and it's a big deal. But that particular storyline and that character in that episode, coupled with Gene Simmons, it made it more iconic than I knew it was going to be. So pretty thrilling.
The theme of the entire episode, sacrificing freedom for security is something that is someone resident now, in society, our freedoms are constantly in danger
Sure.
for someone else's security. So it's timeless. The and not only that, but in the Star Trek vein, your character was really important too because the character was half Romulan, on your grandfather's side, I believe, and
I
therefore,
want to say now people always correct me when I say half Romulan. They say quarter Romulan.
I guess you
I,
could go
I
quarter
honestly
Romulan.
I don't, because it was 30 odd years ago. I
Yeah,
believe, but I'm going to go with the many fans that have corrected me and say that it was
well, we'll go with
quarter
that.
Romulan. But you also could be right.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was the first time we'd actually heard of a character being
Right.
part Romulan
Right.
since, well, it would have been Savick and Wrath of Khan. So, I mean, there was a
Mm-hmm.
good long time period between
Mm-hmm.
there. Kirstie Alley played her then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was great. And the anniversary of that episode is coming up in April 29th of this 2026. will be 35 years.
Wow.
And yeah,
Wow. Now I feel really old.
I,
Um,
I, I get it. I get it. I feel
now
it.
I feel old, but I listen. I owe that all to Jonathan Frakes, who is my dear friend to this day, who cast me in that. I met him on that. He directed me in it, and he's directed me in probably 9 or 10 things since then. So it's become a great friendship and a great working relationship, all because of that. Walking into that casting room, and I was sitting in a casting office at Paramount Studios in Junie Lowry's office with probably 12 other guys, all of whom I knew. And we were all, we all competed against each other for jobs over the years. And I just happened to come away with the gig, and you know, the rest is history.
The turnover on that episode is amazing. I've read up on some of the history and how the episode itself was written in February of that year, filmed sometime in that time period, and
Mm-hmm.
within and then aired in April. And I'm like, that's just mind-boggling.
That
Like
sounds
how
about right
fast.
because I remember you back in the day, um, going back 30, 35 years, there was a time when if you did a guest spot on a television episode, whether it was Star Trek or Matlock or whatever it was, and I made my bones as a young actor doing guest star roles early on in my career. And you did a guest spot on a show, Murder She Wrote or whatever, and you would get a postcard from the studio, from the production office at the studio saying, "Thank you for your good work on this show, Spencer. Your episode airs, on thus and such a date." And I remember getting that postcard from Paramount at that time, literally like maybe 3 weeks, a month after I wrapped the episode,
Wow.
um, saying that the episode was going to be on the air. But that was a different time, and there was a lot more grace and classiness back then, I guess. And so they would send actor, thanking you for your work. It was a big deal for a
Yeah,
young
late.
actor. It meant a lot to me to get those postcards, all of which I still have. I have a collection of those postcards, those thank you notes, like your Funko dolls behind you. So yeah, but
Yeah,
I remember the turnaround was really quick. I was kind of surprised at that as well.
that's very kind of them. I've never heard of that before.
Yep,
I do remember you being on Murder She Wrote. It was a staple in my household growing up, and
I did a
uh,
couple of them. I did, I think, 2 or 3 of them. Yeah,
but were you different characters
I was
or?
different characters. The
Yeah.
first one I did was I remember it very well because the first one I did, I played. I was a lawyer, and I played uh, Angela Lansbury's lawyer, and a very young Juliana Margulies was on that episode, and she hadn't done much before that. She had done an episode, I think, of Homicide: Life on the Street, and maybe one or two other things, but she hadn't done a lot, and she'd gotten offered The Murder She Wrote, and we became fast friends from working together on that episode. She came out of New York, I came out of New York, and so we had a instant bond. And I remember while we were right after we wrapped Murder She Wrote, she told me that she got this pilot for this medical drama called ER. And I said, "Well, you don't want to do that. Why? Who's going to want to watch a medical drama?" I said, "No, that's a tired genre. You should find something else to do." Well, I'm really, really glad. Every time I see her, she pokes me and, "Aren't you glad?" I'm so glad I didn't take your advice. Um, yeah,
It's interesting because there's I've always said there's two different kinds of people in this world. It depends on how you know Juliana Margulies. You either know her as from ER or as the good wife. And it's
yeah,
like, who
yeah,
are you? But
yeah. That's true. That's true.
but
I
yeah,
never got to do Good Wife with her because she'd moved back to New York then, where she lives now. But she's a wonderful actor and remains a dear friend to this day. But yeah, that was a great piece of advice I gave her. I'm glad she didn't take it.
one show I know you best from, of course, would be The Invisible Man,
Mm.
and which is one of those shows I believe that more people should watch. Go back and watch them. I had a conversation recently. I was talking with Mike McCafferty about it,
Oh yeah,
and we were discussing like it's something that it's available. Roku has it now, and it's like if it would catch on, can we do more? Vincent, we talked to Vincent about it back in June, and he's like he wants to do more. He's got
Hmm.
ideas, and
Hmm.
I would
It's
love to
got
see that.
a terrific fan base
Oh
to
yeah,
this day, even though, I mean, what did it go? Did it go 2 seasons or three
two,
seasons? Two
two.
seasons.
Yeah,
Um, and I remember because I came on season one. I think I recurred through season one and two,
yeah.
and I remember I was eager to direct, and it was on that show that they told me when we come back for season three, you're going to be directing, and it didn't come to pass. But I had a great experience working on that show. I'd known Vince before that, and loved watching him get the lead on a show. And Paul Ben Victor I've known forever, and Mike, and and the great Eddie Jones. That was a very fun show to work on, and people still remember me from that too, which is very nice. It's a great little sort of nichey genre show that I think deserves more love.
Yeah, I keep in touch with everybody. We still have the group, where
Yeah,
we chat and stuff, and it's that's the one thing. We've lost a few people through the years. Eddie passed away a couple of
yeah.
years ago. I haven't seen or heard from his wife in a couple of years, so I don't really know what's happened with her. But
I'm still
I'd
in touch
still,
with Brandy. Do you remember Brandy Ledford?
yeah, I
And
follow her on Instagram, and
yep,
occasionally,
and Idalis,
okay, oh
Idalis De
yeah,
Leon.
yeah,
Yep, who I played. She sort of played my, kind of my henchwoman, I guess.
consigliere, yeah,
Yes, yes,
yes, yeah, yeah. You were the head of Chrysalis for anyone that
yeah,
doesn't know.
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those shows I always tell people like go back and check it out, because I have Vince's tattoo on my arm.
Oh, nice.
So like people are like, "What's
Where
that?"
is
I'm
it? Where
like,
can you find it, Ed? Where is it running?
"Roku." It is on
It's
the
on
Roku.
Roku. Oh, great. Good to know.
Yeah, yeah, they have them all on there, and I don't know if anybody else has them, but I know Roku does for sure. And what's interesting is there's one episode in season two. There is two different versions of the episode, and Roku has both versions.
Oh,
So yeah,
interesting.
which is really nice. They had done one of these like you call in or the internet was new, so like type in like what you want to happen. Will Bobby Hobbs go bad or whatever. So they shot both
This is
versions.
like pre 2000, right? Like
Yeah, well,
90. Yeah.
2000 to 2002, but
Okay.
you were shooting pre 2000.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. But yeah, like I said, I'm always trying to push that. Speaking of other characters you had played, and you have an anniversary coming up, very literally this month on the 25th of November. I'm sorry, 29th of November is the 25th anniversary of your appearance on Voyager,
Aha.
and which was, for all intents and purposes, two episodes, split up. But I remember, because I'm thinking about that because of the Murder She Wrote and playing different characters, and it reminds me of the days of Columbo when everybody would come back on.
Yeah.
I do want to ask about the Murder She Wrote. Was it like an actors pool? Were you in like a pool of actors that they would pull from?
No, I mean it was actually the first that episode with Juliana, and I want to say I believe George Siegel was on it,
Oh wow.
and Morgan Fairchild, and great. She just got great actors. Everybody loved working on that show. It was the first show that I was ever offered. Like I didn't have to audition for it. It's called a straight offer in the business, and I got a phone call from the agent, and they said, "Hey, they want you on Murder She Wrote." They looked at my tape, and I guess I had had a decent enough body of work at that time that I was sort of known in the industry, and so I was thrilled to get that call.
Yeah.
The casting director had sort of kept his eye on me, and that was a great phone call to get. Because Angela was so beloved in the industry, everybody loved working with her, for her on that show. She was an actor's actor. She loved actors. Everybody adored being on her sets, and she also, there's a thing called top of show, which is sort of it's the base highest salary you can make, that is offered to an actor, for a guest spot, and then your agent will negotiate, a little bit higher or higher, depending on your cachet in the industry. But
Right.
back then, top of show was around four something, for 7-8 days work, and she paid 6,000, which in 90 I don't know what I can't remember what the first one I did was, but I want to say like maybe 90, 93, 92, 93. $6,000 was a lot of money back then. And then the next one I did was a couple of years later. It was called, the episode was called Southern Double Cross. And it took, there was a section of it that took place in Australia. I think I played a lawyer again in that. That was the beginning of my lawyer run where I, played 837 lawyers in a row. But yeah, that was a good phone call to get because Angela she paid actors very well. She treated actors well. She treated actors like they deserved to be treated. So that was very special.
Well, it's good you went typecast from lawyers to now you're being the president. Hopefully that's a continuation. You do
That would
that
be
well.
nice. I was cast as the president in Iron Man 3 initially. And then at the 11th hour, got a call from Marvel and the casting person and Shane Black, the director, saying, I literally had my bags packed, ready to go to Wilmington, North Carolina to shoot my role as the president. And I got a call saying, listen, they've changed their mind. They keep looking at your audition and they keep thinking, God, he just looks too young to be the president. So I had been cast, and then the offer was sort of rescinded. I ended up getting paid for the part, but they, as sort of a booby prize, a concession prize, they gave me a kind of a smaller sort of cameo.
You were a sheriff.
I was a sheriff,
Yeah.
uncredited, but I was in Wilmington, North Carolina for 5 weeks, and I think I worked 2 days. So that ended up being a pretty good gig. I would have liked to have been the president, but yeah, I had the presidency literally pulled out from under me, like
You're
Charlie Brown.
kind of the Joe Biden of movie presidents. You come so close, and
Exactly.
finally
Exactly.
you got it.
But then I finally got to do it last year on Tempest, when I went to Seoul, Korea. So after a lifetime of playing senators and congressmen and close to being the president, I finally got to do it on Tempest, which is a great show on Hulu.
Yeah, I my mother-in-law is really big into the K-dramas right now, and
Yeah,
it's like anytime we call to see what's going on, they're like, "Oh, she's watching her K-dramas." It was like, "Well, she's gonna get the Tempest eventually."
it's
So
really good. It's
yeah,
really, really good. I was not hip to the K drama thing, and I didn't realize what a massive deal they were. And this is the biggest K drama in the history of K dramas. This collaboration between Disney with Hulu and the Korean the Korean film production company. So they did an amazing job. So it was fun. I was over there for about 2 weeks. It was a good time.
I really loved it when you were sharing the videos, like when you go out for dinner with the cast and you and John Cho talking. You
Yeah,
were sharing all your lives, and those were really entertaining. You had a really good core group of actors,
we really
and
did. We really
yeah,
did. Well, Alicia Hanna, who is probably best known she's on Cobra Kai.
yeah.
She's an old friend, and she reached out to me and she said, "Listen, I've been tasked with casting the American actors from this show, and I want to bring my friends over." So she brought me and Brooke Smith, who's probably best known as the girl in the well in Silence of the Lambs, but has done a million other things, Grey's Anatomy, and Romy Rosemont, and obviously John Cho and Christopher Gorham, who's on Fire Country now. So she brought all of her friends over there, and we were all over there for a couple of weeks. So it was like, we called it Summer Camp Seoul. We were in Seoul in the month of August, which is a bit balmy, a little toasty over there, but we had a wonderful time bonding with the Korean crew and the other cast members, and the two stars of that show, of Tempest,
They're
are like
amazing.
the mega stars of the Asian market.
It very much. I know it seems odd to say this, but the one gentleman whose name I will not try to butcher was very Tom Cruise esque. Like he has a
Yes,
gravitas to him that just
yes,
draws you in.
yes. And forgive me, I don't want to butcher his name either, so I will
Yeah,
not. But he was terrific. They had a great presence. They all had really wonderful presence. Terrific, terrific actors. And the woman, I want to say the woman who directed all of the episodes that I was in was also one of the writers of the film Parasite. All of the crew worked with Bong Joon-ho. So that great pedigree over there, and just a remarkable crew. And we were all treated with such kindness and respect, and it's a when you come into, we call it day play. Like when you come in to work for a couple of days or a week or so on a big, this was a giant 8 or 10 episode miniseries. And when you come in for a short period of time on such a massive project, you could be kind of like the new kid on the block and you're not really sure where you fit in. I came in, they were already well into production. But when I walked into this White House set in the studios in Seoul, and I've been on a lot of White House sets, including the Residence and Air Force One, and this was every bit as grand and wonderful as every other American set that I've been on. But we got treated with such kindness and respect, which is you don't always get even on American sets.
Yeah, I'll say that the Residence, amazing, amazing set.
Yeah,
I watched all the background footage of how the sets were built,
yeah,
and it was amazing. But watching Tempest, it's just like whoever the set designer was, chef's kiss, great
yep,
job.
definitely.
Uh, Everything looked so good, so good.
Yeah, pretty remarkable.
Indeed, indeed. I Yeah, and of course anybody that hasn't watched it, do it. It's Hulu, Disney Plus. It's definitely worth your time. Currently, you have let me see. I think you should be showing up maybe very soon, or by the time this airs, you will have already shown up in episode 8 of was it Murdaugh? Uh,
Murdaugh Murders, yeah,
yeah,
Death of the
yeah.
Family. I actually
And
watched episode 7 last night, and I think the next one will drop. The final one will drop next week, which is the courtroom stuff where I play where I play his lawyer. Um,
all the way back to this, all the way back to being a lawyer again.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, it's okay. It's okay to go back to the well every once in a while if the suit fits. But it was a good. Jason Clarke is an old friend who's masterfully plays Alec Murdaugh, and Patricia Arquette, who I've never yet met, but I'm a massive fan of. She's doing a remarkable job as Maggie, as his wife. And Jason and I met on Public Enemies, a Michael Mann film in 2007, and we did Winning Time together, the Lakers show a couple of years ago, and he's just great. So
Yeah,
he's having a hell of a year. He's in 3 huge projects right now, and he's incredibly different in each one. But he's incredible in this show in Murdoch Murders. So anybody that hasn't seen it, if you want a really really good, I listened to even before I got cast in the show. I listened to the podcast, Mandy Matney's podcast, and watched the Netflix documentary. So I had a good wealth of information. And of course, I did a deep dive on the guy that I was playing, Jim Griffin, before I got down there. Looked nothing like him, oddly enough, but so I tried to capture his essence as best as I could. And my good friend Rob Morrow from Northern Exposure plays the prosecuting attorney, and we had a great time in Atlanta shooting that.
yeah. See, I didn't know what character you were playing. Your IMDb didn't specify your character. You just that
Oh,
you were gonna.
interesting. All
So
right.
like
Well, I will
episode
I will
8.
update that.
Yeah, episode 8 will come out this coming Monday. So
Yep.
that's when you'll be there. And so like you telling me you're the lawyer, that's news. That's news to me.
Yes.
Um, but it's good to know, and interesting that you won't see Patricia. Or you so no scenes with Patricia Arquette.
No, well, I mean, we were in the courtroom thing, so her character was already, gone.
Yeah, no,
So,
I just kind of assumed that you might have been on set, but
no,
I've
it
seen
was. I think she had already wrapped by the time I got there. I missed her by a few days. We have a million mutual friends, but she had already wrapped her stuff by the time I got down there. So I never got to meet her. I'm sure I'll meet her one of these days.
there's been a
But
lot of great set photos from Dave Blass. He's
yes,
the photographer.
yeah,
Amazing
yeah.
photography, and
Yeah,
I was
it's a
talking
great
to
show,
him.
and the I got a shout out to the 2 actors who play Will Harrison, who plays Buster Murdoch, and Johnny Berchtold, who plays Paul. Who was unfortunately, who Murdoch killed along with his mother, and the surviving son, Buster, is still alive, who still maintains his father's innocence to this day, which is very strange.
Yeah, Well, some people, you know, yeah. But yeah, I it's been nice. It's been nice seeing all the stuff. I'm it's one of those things like I didn't realize it was a true story going into it when it
Oh,
was
oh
first.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
had
very
no
much.
idea.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
just thought, oh, this is a really, compelling series. And then I'm like, oh, it's really based on a true story. It's like, because sometimes you see that and you take it with a grain of salt. But from what I understand, this is really following
Yeah.
to the letter.
To
And
the letter,
yeah,
absolutely to the letter, and all of the other things that the young son Paul was involved in, starting with the boat crash, and then there were rumors that Buster had been involved with this young kid Stephen Smith who passed away. I mean, there was so much corrosion and corruption and just rot from the inside with this family, starting with the head of the family, starting with Alec Murdoch. So he's, I mean, he still maintains his innocence. My character Jim Griffin, who is his attorney, along with the lead attorney, who was a man named Dick Harpootlian. They still maintain, Alec's innocence, obviously,
mm.
which is kind of shocking. I mean, there's mountains and mountains of evidence against him. So I wish him well in his appeal process.
I think unfortunately in our lives nowadays, there's plenty of people that we all know that see the evidence and still can't believe certain things about certain people. So it's not not
Yeah,
too unheard of, I guess.
yeah, that's putting it mildly. Yeah.
Yeah. I Now when you talk about not meeting Patricia Arquette and passing in the night, as it were, when you were on set on Next Generation and you worked with Gene Simmons, did you have the honor of meeting and speaking to her like as a human and
Oh,
not just a
sure.
character?
I'm
Oh,
sure. I mean, I when I got the job and they told me that Gene Simmons was going to be on the show, I was thrilled because I thought, oh, I'm going to meet the guy from Kiss. And I walked into the makeup trailer, and there is Gene Simmons
yeah.
with a J, not a G, the iconic actress from Spartacus and Guys and Dolls, and all of her massive body of work. So beautiful and gracious with the mouth of a sailor. She was a lot of fun to be around, and we had a good time. We had a good time offset. She was lovely to me. I think I was 27 or 28. So I mean, I'd really only been acting professionally for about 5 or 6 years, but that was a big role for me then. I mean, that was a kind of a coming out party for me, and it was a big responsibility, and I was quite nervous. So when you see that young, baby-faced boy sitting across from Patrick Stewart, looking very nervous about his future and his fate, that was not a lot. There was not a lot of acting going on. I was genuinely nervous. Um,
Understandable.
it's one of those things where I look back and I see it in reruns or whatever, and I go, "Gosh, if I could go back in a time capsule and revisit myself back then, 35 years ago, I would tell that young actor to maybe try a few things differently." But I didn't know how a half Romulan, quarter Romulan was supposed to act then. So
Well, see, the thing is, in a great way, the absolute best thing for you is you set the tone. You were the
yeah,
first. So from now on, anyone else that ever plays a character similar to that sets their tone by you.
yeah,
So, and that's to me, you couldn't ask for a better gift. You
yeah.
originate a character.
Yeah, there was a
And
real innocence to that portrayal of Simon that the younger me brought to it that was very genuine. I mean, I look at it now. I look back and I see that face of that young boy, and I go, yeah, that's who I was. I was finding my way. I was pretty green as an actor. I'd done a few things already, but I remember feeling the weight of the responsibility of having to get this guy right. And I was in good hands with Jonathan and everybody around me, Michael Dorn and LeVar, who I've also worked with several times over the years, who's directed me. It was a really good. It was a great experience for a young actor to be surrounded by. I mean, Jonathan had done Broadway, and Jonathan was a big big deal as an actor even then. And to this day, as a director, a guy who absolutely adores actors, and actors love working with him. So that was to have been brought into that experience that could have been nerve-wracking for, you know, anybody else. It was a real welcoming, warm environment for me, who was, you know, not entirely sure what I was doing, and I had very good guidance from the people around me. So
You got your start in theater, correct?
I did, yeah, yeah.
See, it's always been a theory of mine. I try to figure it out. Like before I'd even look somebody up or know or anything, which I haven't looked up your past too much like that. But like you're very animated with your hands. And characters that you play when you're animated with your hands, I've always thought this is someone that was on stage. They're used to,
Oh,
bring the
interesting.
attention to
Yeah.
me. And then when you see a very solemn character whose arms aren't moving, that's someone that's based their career through television and film. And it's like I try to figure that out. It's kind of like
I don't know that that's necessarily true. I mean,
not always.
I've
Not
always, I mean, I did start out in theater. True. I would say most actors of my generation did. I started out in Washington D.C. in theater, and then in New York, and then out here, and I've done a bunch of plays since then over the years. But we're always trying to, as actors, we're always trying to achieve a certain amount of stillness.
yeah.
So yeah, I go back, and if I see a lot of my things where my hands are moving around. Sometimes that's a choice, and sometimes that's just, honest to God, every actor will tell you, I don't know what the F to do with my hands. Like, so if you see me on a red carpet or on a show and my hands are in my pockets, it's because I don't know what to do with my hands. So sometimes it's a choice, and sometimes it's literally because we just don't know what to do.
One of your most recent red carpets, you had the honor, I would imagine, I have to say, you met Steven Spielberg. and
Oh,
and
yes.
and I was just like, I saw those pictures, and I have to ask, just out of curiosity,
I like to say Steven Spielberg met me, but
oh,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, he
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
he had the honor.
He did.
Um, but I saw the pictures. I assume it was Dana taking the pictures for you. And was it her idea or yours? Were you like, take these pictures,
No,
or
she had my, I said, I got to meet him. I mean, we were on the carpet together, and we were sort of thrown into this situation. She was getting an award that night
no?
from the Simon Wiesenthal Foundation. And a lot of fancy people were there, and we just happened to. Steven Spielberg was giving an award that night also to David Zaslav, who is the head of Warner Brothers Discovery. So he was getting the big award of the night. So we just happened to be on the red carpet, and so I, being a massive movie fan, and also particularly a fan of the movie Jaws, which
Oh,
I've
yeah.
probably seen at least 50, 60 times over the summer. Last summer, I went with a buddy of mine, and there's a woman named Allison Martino, Ali Martino, which if you don't, you should follow her on
Okay.
Instagram. She curates an Instagram page called Vintage Los Angeles. She's the daughter of Al Martino, who played Johnny Fontaine in the Godfather films.
Oh, okay.
And but she sort of is a tour guide of all things vintage Los Angeles, and she is sort of a historian, cultural historian of old time LA. So she went with me and my friend Jay Hughley, also an actor, and we decided to get dressed up as the characters from Jaws. I went as Richard Dreyfuss. He went as Roy Scheider's character. And so I absolutely felt compelled as I was standing next to Steven Spielberg. And I said, I have to show you these pictures. And he's like, what? And I showed him pictures of me as Richard Dreyfuss, on my Instagram feed. And he was very charming and very gracious to spend the time with me. And he kind of looked at me like, wow, you need to get a life, pal. Not
But
really,
yeah,
but
I know,
it
I
was,
get it. It's like showing
yeah,
somebody pictures of your cat. Like, look, it's like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I saw that and I thought, this is great. And I love that she took those pictures because,
She actually walked around, and Spielberg is directing Dana. He was saying basically, no, he's like, no, move over there, move over there. She's like, I can't believe I'm being directed by Steven Spielberg on how to take these pictures. She walked around behind the two of us and did an over-the-shoulder shot of my hand holding my phone, where on the phone is the photos of
Yeah.
all of us at the Hollywood Bowl. So she did some good camera work there. She's
Oh,
very good.
that's an IMDB credit right there. I'm telling you.
Should be. Yeah.
Should be. Yeah.
Should be. She's got a few IMDb credits of her own. She was in the Superman movie
Yeah.
with Amy Adams, and I
Oh yeah,
the one
Returns. Yeah.
Superman Returns,
Yeah.
um, directed by what's his name?
Oh, that was Schneider.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in House of Cards, which is actually she had done around the time that she and I first met. She has a few little film and TV credits, and she played herself in a podcast that I produced called America 2.0. So she's a pretty decent actor for
That's good. Yeah.
a
Keep it
journalist.
up.
Yeah,
In case that news thing falls through. So
you never know.
never know. But yeah, it that was great. Yeah, and one thing that I wish was still going of all your credits, I have to say, would definitely be Winning Time. We were big fans of Winning Time
Yeah,
around here, and
yeah, me
and
too. That was
I
a tough one. That was a tough one to when we find out that we're not coming back for season 3, and to end on what I consider a low note with the Lakers losing to the Boston Celtics at the end of season 2, which kind of defeated the whole purpose of doing the show, because it was supposed to show the Lakers rise. But I think that show was kind of doomed from the start. The strike killed us. The cost of the show was very exorbitant. It would have been tough to maintain with all of those stars on the show. It was very expensive, and that was sort of the beginning of Zaslav's reign, where he was sort of cutting back a lot of costs, and we were one of the first casualties of that. But I had a great experience, and it was great to play Chick Hearn and honor him like that.
Oh yeah, wonderful makeup department. I have to
Yes.
say, like of all the, I mean, like that one, and when you did, oh, what is his name, Hannity. Like when the
Oh
makeup
yeah.
on you for Hannity was just like it took to a whole new level. Like
Yeah.
okay, you
In
were no
Bombshell.
longer
Yeah.
Spencer Garrett, you were that character, and
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful
Thank you.
designs.
That's Ann Morgan, who's a wonderful hairstylist who did that kind of Sean Hannity, that sort of barbershop quartet parted in the middle thing, and that was a fun character to play. Emphasis on character.
Right, right.
They did a great job. Charlize Theron in that as Megyn Kelly was uncanny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, yeah, it's
they
like
did
you didn't even
that.
know. Yeah, it's like watching it. It's like it takes you a second. The
Yeah, yeah,
anytime a character can take you out of reality, I think is wonderful, especially if they don't look like themselves. And and that was one of them. That was
yeah.
definitely one.
Yeah,
So
that's Jay Roach. I love working for Jay. That was my third or fourth project with Jay, and he's just one of the loveliest. A guy who had such great success doing all the comedies, the Meet the Parents and Austin Powers and all of those comedies, and then he just made a sharp left turn into political films, and has done amazing work, with all of that as well. So one of my favorite people to work with.
that's good. Yeah, you mentioned Jaws a little bit ago, and we're Jaws fan. My wife is a huge Jaws fan, so like
Yeah.
shopping comes around, they start playing them. It's constantly on our TV.
Uh,
Anytime I see somebody with a nice hat that I like, I tell them that's a bad hat, Harry, just to see if see if they understand, and if we're simpatico somewhere.
Well, it's the name of
Oh, the production
what's
company as well. Yeah,
the production company of
is it
I'm
JJ? No, that's
not
Bad Robot.
JJ. No, that's Bad Robot. He directed Usual Suspects. What's his name?
Oh, um, man, make me get up and go get the movie.
If only there was a machine.
Yeah.
Um, oh come on, Usual Suspects and many other things. All right, let's see who gets there first.
I was just talking about Usual Suspects yesterday. That's terrible because I was talking about the lineups.
Hang on. Brian Singer.
Bryan Singer.
Brian Singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? And let's go back. Bryan Singer did that Superman with Dana. It wasn't. It wasn't.
No, it was Zack Snyder. It was Zack
No.
Snyder. Yeah.
Zack Snyder did Man of Steel. Was she in Man of Steel
She was in
then?
Man of Steel. She was not in the.
Okay,
She was not in
okay,
the Brian. She was not.
okay.
I remember very,
Yeah,
very specifically. It was Zack Snyder because
okay.
she specifically said that there were no sugar products and no sodas and nothing sweet or unhealthy on his sets. He's known for that, so I remember that. It was Zack
Okay,
Snyder.
okay.
Brian Singer did the one with Kevin
Brian's,
Spacey, Lex
yeah,
Luthor. Yeah,
yeah, that's it. Okay, now we're there.
I know what movies my girlfriend has been in, Ed.
They, they've made Superman so many times, it's hard to
I
keep
know.
track,
Yeah, this last one I haven't seen yet. Have you?
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you don't sound thrilled.
Yeah, well, like if you were to say, "Hey, what Superman do you want to watch today?" I'm gonna pick a Christopher Reeve any day.
Sure.
But it's good. I've watched it twice. I've watched all the. I watched it with the commentary, and I thought that was going to be better. It was there was things that were left out of the commentary, like simple things like not acknowledging, um, like Christopher Reeve's son is in the film, and there was no
Oh,
acknowledgement of that in the commentary, and I thought
interesting.
that's weird,
Mm,
But I'm a commentary guy. As soon as a film comes out, I'll watch it, and I'll watch it with the commentary. I want that knowledge, and that's. But yeah, and they made it really weird. You pick up the physical copy, you don't get it. You have to use the digital copy with the app, like Apple or whatever, and
mm,
then you get the digital. And I thought, well, that or the commentary. I thought, well, that's kind of cheap. It's like you're
mm.
paying for the physical. I want all of it on the physical.
Sure.
But speaking of, like, holy crap, book for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Yeah.
which I have not ordered, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting it for Christmas. But
You better get it. I've got, well, if you don't get it, I've got about 6 copies and I'll save you
well,
one.
I
Yeah.
I
They're
might
not
need.
cheap.
It looks amazing, and
It is truly amazing. So big, big shout out to, in fact, you can't see it because if I pulled it out, my iPad would topple over. But
oh,
I just ordered and I just got in the mail today by the same author, Jay Glenny, who's this extraordinary writer and historian of films. He's the guy who put together the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the making of book. He interviewed me and Brad and Leo and Margot and the whole cast. But he also has a great book for if your listeners are cinephiles out there. It's called One Shot: The Making of the Deer Hunter, and
ooh,
it's also is great. It's a big fat. It's probably the same size as the Once Upon a Time book, but
yeah, it's coffee table size.
coffee table stuff. Yeah, but
Yeah.
the Tarantino man is just a gorgeous book. It's just an incredible book.
I'd like to see you pop up in another Tarantino film. I mean, like I know he's got at least one more. He wants to do at least one
Supposedly
more.
there is one more, his 10th and final. I mean, I don't know. He's only 61 or 62, but he says that the 10th movie is going to be his last. He wants to end on a good round number. There was going to be one called The Movie Critic that was in the beginning stages of casting, and then he kind of scrapped that. And I guess what he's doing now apparently is he's writing a Broadway play.
Hmm.
Um, and he says if that play is successful, he will turn that into his final film. But I'd love to be in the last one. I mean, he's a friend, and I'm sure everybody that's ever been a part of any of his films is going to want to be in the last one. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, and if you look through, his entire, book of his work, a lot of characters repeat. So, and
yeah, yeah.
sadly, a lot of them, like I was rewatching Kill Bill. I heard it was coming back to
Michael
theaters.
Madsen.
Yeah, Madsen's
Yeah,
gone, and so is oh goodness, the sheriff. Oh shoot. See, that's what's
yeah.
terrible. I hate the out of sight, out of mind on people. But he was also in Red State with Kevin Smith. Um, Wonderful.
Oh, Michael Parks.
Michael Parks. Thank you.
Michael Parks,
Yes,
and
Michael
obviously
Parks
David
is gone.
Carradine. Yeah.
Yeah. And and that's it's sad when they're gone, but
Yeah. But
wonderful.
listen, I mean, I'm on screen for 5 minutes in that movie, and it's to have gotten cast in that. is
Yeah.
such a lovely kind of feather in my cap as an actor. I'm very proud of it because the whole casting process, reading with the casting director, which is something that doesn't really happen anymore, is actually actors physically reading in the room with a casting director, which is now everything's done over tape or self tape. Um, it's very rare that you get the opportunity to be in the room with a casting director, and she directed me the way I ended up doing that scene in that movie. And Quentin saw that and cast me, and a month later I was on set. It was a very special memory.
I love it. I do you remember the meme that I sent you of Leo pointing at the TV and it was the
Yeah,
Tarsus
yeah,
character?
yeah,
And it's like I remember when I was watching it and I'm like, hey, even
yeah,
then that scene
yeah.
happened. I was like, wow, that's hilarious. But yeah, because we didn't know. Went into it completely blind, not knowing who was in it, not realizing because I don't do trailers. If a movie's coming out, I don't watch trailers.
Uh,
Trailers are ruined. And let's go right back to you mentioning Jason Clark. Jason
mm,
Clark, I'm coming back to him. He was in, I think it was Terminator Genesis. He did when he
mm-hmm.
was going to be playing, uh, Kai or I think he was. I don't know which character he was, but anyways, that trailer ruined that he was the villain. Uh,
Oh, I,
I
I
was
never
like,
saw that one, but yeah.
well, it's not good. I mean, he's good, but the film as a whole is not doesn't gel with the rest of the films. It's like a whole nother alternate universe, and
To be honest with you, I don't think I've seen a Terminator film since Terminator 2. So
you're okay then.
I'm
You're,
okay. I'm all
you're
right.
okay.
Yeah.
But no, but they spoiled it, and I was like, that's the day
Mm.
I'm done. No more trailers. I won't
Is
do
that
it.
the one with Claire Danes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
no. No, Claire Danes was in the third one. This was the one with I never watched Game of Thrones, but she was the girl from Game of Thrones. Amelia, something, Amelia Clark.
Amelia Clark.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a Game of Thrones person. I never got around to it, but I know
I've
she
never
was
I've
in
never
it.
seen it. There's a lot of television there's so much good stuff out there. I just haven't seen it yet.
She was here for a wedding. The town I live in, she came here. She was dating a
Where are
gentleman,
you, by the way? What town are you in?
Wapakoneta, Ohio. It's
Okay.
Neil Armstrong's hometown.
Oh
So
wow, amazing.
we everything around here is astronauts, and we have the
Sure.
museum.
My very first autograph that I ever asked for was Neil Armstrong after he
Wow.
came back from the Apollo 11 mission, and sadly I've lost that. I have asked two people for their autographs in my entire life. One was Neil Armstrong, the other was Groucho Marx,
Oh,
um, who wrote on my program. It was the AFI Life Achievement Award dinner for Gene Kelly, and I met Groucho Marx, and it was still one of the biggest thrills of my life. And he wrote on my program, and he signed his name, and he said, "Here, kid, now you have something completely worthless." Um, I do still have that one, but
great.
Neil
That and
Armstrong, yeah,
no Neil. I never met Neil, but I've had dinner. Or I had dinner with his mother and father
is
before
he
they
still alive?
passed. No, no,
No,
no. He passed away, I think, in 2011. It was the same or year before my dad died. But
so he never got a chance to see the Damien Chazelle movie First Man. I think,
no,
yeah, yeah.
no. But we did have the premiere here for that.
Oh yeah,
So that was nice. But yeah, yeah. But never had a chance to meet him. But like we have moon rocks, we have pieces of
sure,
everything here, and
sure.
then there's statues all over town for
Oh,
him.
I see my right over your left shoulder. I just noticed
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You're up on the. Here's an
Look at that.
autograph.
Oh, that's great.
Thanks
Look
to
at that. Look
you,
at that
it was.
baby
I knew
face.
it was real.
I looked like I was 12.
Yeah, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have known it was real. There was so many different
Yeah,
autographs.
I see them. I see them now all over the place on eBay, and
Yeah.
people send me their cards, and they send me. So fans out there, if you're listening, don't send me 100 cards to sign because I'm not going to sign them. But sometimes people, when the Star Wars people send me the Funkos, they will also send me baseball cards of Darth Revan, and they'll send me like 20 cards to sign. Um, that's about my max.
Yeah,
Um,
this one said it was like, you know, like you had signed it officially for them.
Oh wow, yeah,
So
yep.
that's what made it better. It wasn't
Oh,
something
that's great.
somebody sent and then resold. I don't think I've ever really asked for an autograph for anything. I have a couple that people have gotten me. Like I got Patrick Stewart's. It was when his book came out, he wasn't going to be signing anymore. His hands were getting bad, and
Mm,
it was going to be the last signing he was going to
mm,
do. So someone got me that.
mm.
And I have Jerry Ryan's that someone grabbed for me once.
Oh, Jerry's an old pal. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see on my Instagram? I ran into Sir Patrick several months ago at a restaurant
Yes.
at
Yep.
a it
Sitting
was
in the booth.
in the booth, sitting in the booth, and it was a dinner for Mark Ruffalo, who was promoting a film, and Sir Patrick was there, and it was the first time I'd seen him since I did the Star Trek Con in Las Vegas. It was for the TNG 30th, I guess. Yeah, it was
Wow.
about yeah. So hopefully I'll get back there. I'm going to get back there next year.
I know a couple of people that like friend of mine, he goes to all the conventions for Supernatural, and I know that there's a group of people that would love to see you at a Supernatural convention.
I would love to do it. I don't have a rep. I don't have a convention rep.
Oh, really?
But I know the people that do the Star Trek cons, anything sci-fi based or supernatural is Creation Entertainment.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't have anybody that reps me for that stuff. So if
Hmm.
you're out there and you're listening, give me a
Yeah.
call.
Yeah, hopefully they're listening. I want more people listening. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's I mean, and I think that's a way it's a testament to your craft that even a small part or a one character one off people remember. People want more of that. Even with
it's very nice. Yeah,
Simon Tarsus, that character is continued on in books
yeah.
and in beta canon. It's time to bring the character back. It's sad that it didn't happen in Picard,
Hmm.
but you know anything's possible. It's science fiction, so
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
you could be on frozen on ice and brought back or something. Who knows? An admiral by now? I don't know.
Exactly. Probably an admiral, I would
Most
think,
likely.
if not a
Most
vice admiral.
no, I don't know. Don't. No, you don't want to shoot too high, I guess.
No,
Well, sir, I know it's getting close to your time. You said, you had your heart out, and I don't want to take up too much of your
I
time.
had a pleasure, Ed. It was great to finally talk to you, my friend.
It was same here. I'm glad to spend this time with you.
You bet.
Please stick around for a couple of minutes after I end this, and I will wrap up. Okay?
Awesome. Yep.
Thank you.